Hello everybody, welcome to the latest Elite FPL video. I say latest Elite FPL video, it's not exactly the latest one. We're supposed to be streaming tonight, but it's Jason's birthday, so he's going out celebrating it with his wife. So as you know, I do not solo stream, so I'm just going to make a poxy 20-minute video chatting about this twaddle for 30 seconds, and then we're going to get it. You just said 20 minutes, Steve. Yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, a bit of an odd game week upcoming with the amount of injuries for most people. Obviously in the world of FPL, the FPL community, everybody's waffling on about chip strategy and FPL injuries and goes on and on and on, to be honest with you. And I'm just so glad that I've muted about 95% of FPL accounts because I'm just sick to death of seeing anything, to be honest with you, to do with injuries or chip strategy. Not that I would see it in the first place. I only ever see it on the Elite FPL X account feed. But yeah, my team as it stands right now is in the bit of the shitter. You've got Gakpo that will probably play about 20 minutes if I'm lucky. Then got Cunha that's not going to play for, according to FPL Fella, for at least 4 game weeks. Apparently you get a 4 game week ban if you've been straight red carded in the same season, which I wasn't aware of. So yeah, me and Ray are looking at our options. Kind of came up with a good idea earlier on for game week 29. I don't really need to do anything for game week 28. My team is set as it is. It is going to be this team here, barring Qatar is going to be coming in for Cunha and Robinson probably in for Gakpo, if I have the bollocks to bench Gakpo, basically. But me and Ray will have a very brief discussion about that. Maybe you could comment below, Ray. Yeah, it'll be Flecken in goal, Trent, double Arsenal defender Gabriel Timber, Palmer, Salah and Burma, Bowen, Visser. And I'm genuinely tempted to captain Palmer. The only downside to captaining Palmer for me is just the simple fact that he has been not performing, well, more specifically, he's been performing well, but from an FPL points return, it has been a shambles, to be honest. If I look at, well, what was it, 6 points a couple of weeks ago versus West Ham. Other than that, 3 against Southampton, 2 against Aston Villa, 2 against Brighton, 6 at home to West Ham, and then a 2. And then we got a 10-10, 2 and a 10. So I'm hoping with the fact that Leicester are so bad that maybe the fact that myself and Ray are really chasing, you know, our rank is 1-1-1, 1-1-1, 1-1, 6-2, 1. So we kind of need to start looking over the next 10 game weeks how to advance up the mini leagues, because defending our position at the moment is all well and good, but me and Ray have both agreed that we need to attack the next few game weeks. Now, the plan that I'm going to be sending to Ray is looking at Gakpo, Cunha and Palmer out for Marmoush, Haaland and Enzo. That's a small possibility that may happen. I've got the exact funds to do that. That would be for game week 29. But is it really going to be worth it? I think it probably will be. And there's the other option of just Salah out, Cunha out, Gakpo out for Haaland, Marmoush and one other. Maybe Foden. Who knows? But certainly looking at the upcoming fixtures for Palmer and Salah. For me, you've got to be going with form at the moment, and Palmer's form has been an absolute, as we've just seen here, a disgrace over the last few games, including not even getting anything last night in the Europa League or whatever it's bloody called, the Conference League. Obviously, you've got Leicester, who are absolutely a shambles, and this is the thing, it's one of these decisions I've got to make where it's whether or not Palmer versus Salah is worth it, considering Salah's in form, but Palmer could start getting form because he's up against an abysmal Leicester team. Then he's got Arsenal, Tottenham, Brentford, and then Ipswich. Now there was Salah. Obviously, no one's going to be getting rid of him before Southampton. But then it's a blank. Then Everton at home, Fulham away, West Ham at home, Leicester away. Now the argument, of course, will be, well, when am I ever going to be captain, and when are you going to be captaining Salah over Haaland? And so obviously in game week 30, you got Man City at home to Leicester, and then you've got Liverpool at home to Everton. Well, obviously the standout one there is Haaland. Obviously we've got to factor in the double game week 32 coming up, but because me and Ray we've got our wild card and we're looking to wild card in 30/31, I'm hoping to be able to do a video with Ray, if not a live stream, just talking through our wild card options and looking at players that we want to be bringing in. But the truth of the matter is, by game week 30/31, we're going to have a give or take a good idea of who will be blanking, doubling, etc., over the next few weeks in 33, 36, 34, 35, and all the other nonsense that comes with it. But for me, we're going to be wanting to get rid of the likes of Arsenal, not great fixtures, like I state. Plus, I don't think they're going to have any doubles, but reading online with a few of the potential options that could be happening, you've got the likes of Aston Villa that could be chances of doubling, like we say, with Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Man City. So me and Ray are going to need to be attacking this, because people like Jason, they're kind of stuffed when it comes to their teams, including Mr. Reed as well, because Jason's already used his wild card. He's already used his second wild card, and he's got Foden and Mamouche. So for the blank game week, he's got Kirkes, Trossard, Foden, Palmer and Burmo, Mamouche, Wood, Johnson. He's got 8 players at the moment as it stands. Now, can he play his free hit? Of course he can. Of course Jason can play his free hit. But the truth of the matter is that because he's already used his wild card, he's a bit stuffed. And there's his team up on screen, as you can see right there. Fair enough, I just have to do that. That's all right. But yeah, that's his team there, and his bench is, whether you're aware or not, is absolutely terrible, with Greaves, Keane, Fabianski. I mean, my bench is no better, to be honest with you, other than the fact that I've got playing players. Jason's team, obviously, with the fact that Hall is going to be out for the season, and then you've got the likes of Isaac, where it's a hit or miss whether or not he's going to be playing this weekend. Does Eddie Howe entrust him to play? I really don't know. But then I look at the likes of Mr. Reed's team, who again he's dropped to second in the Torbay Elite. I'll be catching up with him soon then. That's the main thing. He's already done his transfers. He brought in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Munoz, and I said to him, they're blanking next week. So that's the kind of person we're dealing with, and he's only got 8 players himself for the blank game week. Pickford, Anya, Gabriel, Robinson, Alanga, Palmer, Clivert, Wood. And on the bench, look at this bench. He's doomed. He's doomed. I mean, he's got Saliba, but Isaac, Hall. Yeah, it's not looking good for Mr. Reed either. So it's funny because seems to happen to me every single season, where when I eventually start catching up with my rivals, it's just potentially, why couldn't that happen at the start of the season by performing quite well over the, me and Ray are performing well in the last few game weeks, but in the first few game weeks it just doesn't seem to go our way whatsoever. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but look, we got a basic plan in place, and certainly game week 29 we're perfectly fine going into it with 2 free transfers, and hopefully by which point Haaland and Mamouche won't have gone up in price, because getting rid of Salah I just feel is a bit mental, so to speak. But certainly the upcoming game week is not great, is it? It's not got particularly brilliant fixtures in my opinion. No standout fixtures, shall we say, in the sense of, oh wow, I can't wait to watch whatever it may be. Maybe at a push, Arsenal versus... Sorry, Man United versus Arsenal. But other than that, I'm really not bothered. I mean, I'm not going to be watching anything anyway, but... Nottingham Forest, Man City, I've got it as probably a Man City win just, but I would not be surprised if Nottingham Forest were to get something like a 2-1 win or 1-1. I've gone 2-1 Man City. History's going 2-0. 5 out of the last 6 fixtures. There's been a clean sheet for one of the teams, and guess what? 4 of them to Man City. So Man City do like playing Nottingham Forest. We then got Brighton, Fulham. Tough game. I think they're just going to cancel each other out in a 1-1. I don't think there's going to be a team that wins, but Fulham do like playing Brighton. Suspecting that the history's going with a 3-1 win to Fulham. The last 2 have had Fulham scoring 3, and they're unbeaten in the last 6. Fulham are actually unbeaten in the last 6 against Brighton, so they do like playing Brighton. Crystal Palace Ipswich, just a straightforward 1-0, 2-0. I've gone 2-0 myself. History's going 3-0. 5 times Crystal Palace have won, 3 of them to 0. Well, I think 3 of the matches have ended to 0 in this particular fixture. I think Ipswich won a game 1-0 or something like that back in the Championship back in 2003. Liverpool Southampton is just going to be a straightforward win. The question is, will Slot be resting any players? Will he be giving the chances to particular individuals who will be playing in the cup final, the likes of Kelleher, for instance, Harvey Elliott? Probably not, but certainly Gakpo won't be playing. I think it's going to be the same front 3 that played against PSG in Jota, Diaz and Salah. Well, I think that was the 3 anyway. And then, I think a comfortable 3-0 win personally. History says there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. 26 goals have been scored across the last 6 fixtures, 17 for Liverpool. And on 4 occasions, there has been 3 or more goals scored in a fixture. So on 4 occasions, 3 or more goals have been scored in a fixture. Brentford, Aston Villa, I think it's going to cancel each other out. I'm going with a 2. No, I'm not going with a 2-2. I'm going with a 2-1 here. I may go with a 2-2 actually. But the history's going with a 3-1 to Aston Villa. Aston Villa on 4 occasions have scored 3+ goals and are unbeaten against Brentford in the last 6. Wolves, Everton, I think they're just going to cancel each other out with a 1-1. History's going 1-0 to Wolves. There's been 4 clean sheets across the last 6. 2 of those games ending as 1-0 to Wolves. Chelsea, Leicester, I've gone with a 4-0. History's going 3-1. Chelsea have won 5 out of the last 6, but there has been quite a few red cards in this fixture, so a bit of a tasty one across the last 6. And Chelsea have scored 15 goals versus Leicester. Tottenham versus Bournemouth, I expect Tottenham to do a job here. They're normally very, very good at home. I'm going 2-1 to Tottenham. History's going 3-2. On 3 occasions, a team in this particular fixture has scored 3. 2 of them have been 3-2 victories, and I believe one of them was for Bournemouth, one of them was for Tottenham, and the other one was a 3-1 to Tottenham. Man United, Arsenal, very, very tough fixture. I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal. History's just about in favour of Arsenal. I mean just, but really, I think this has got 1-1 written all over it, and that's what I may actually predict in the end. It's been across the last 6, a 50-50 split. Arsenal winning 3, or more specifically, Arsenal going through in cups and whatnot. And then you've got Man United winning 3 matches as well. Then you've got the Monday night fixture, West Ham versus Newcastle. Depends the kind of team that Eddie Howe puts out. If he puts out a full-strength team, I think they come out of it as winners. History suggesting that as well, but 2-2 is what the history is suggesting. Newcastle have only lost once in the last 6. There's been 3 draws across the last 6 fixtures and 23 goals scored in total. But yeah, it's one of those with me and Ray where, like I state, we've got a basic plan in mind. And certainly, we just want to get through game week 28 on preferably a green, but I think a grey considering the injuries that we've got within the team and the fact that Robinson's going to be away at Brighton where he's going to concede a goal, and then you got Katara coming in where this Evan Nilsson has come back, so we don't know what is going to be happening there. I think still Katara probably still starts. I don't see any reason why their manager would just drop him. Maybe give Evan Nilsson like half an hour or whatever in the second half, but I can't really see why he would just drop him like that. But, you know, stranger things have happened, as they say. But yeah, we will see how this particular game week goes. There won't be any streams tomorrow either. I mean, I may do a 3 p.m. one, but it's very unlikely. Because like I said, it's going to be a solo, and I just don't like doing solo streams. Sunday, very much doubt it as well. So yeah, this is about as much as you're going to get. A bit of news on Patreon as well. If you do want additional content, basically we've decided that, well, I've decided that the podcast that I do, a week later, they will be available to anybody that's a free member. So if you are a member of Patreon, even $1.99 to be honest with you, but we do additional content at the $4.99 tier, and it's basically personal to the patrons that participate in the conversation pieces, and basically I just respond with whatever the answers are necessary. Of course, the Patreon podcast will be a bit outdated by a week, obviously, but if you do like the drivel of real life, what's going on in my world or whatnot, then you may find it interesting. If not, I'm not holding a gun to your head. Oh, can't be saying that. Someone was banned, weren't they? I actually know who was banned, but I'm not going to say who. Yeah, other than that, just stay tuned, basically. I know for a fact that I'm going to be on FPL Juice on Tuesday again, so yeah, that's more people not tuning in because I'll be on there again. Other than that, me and Jace will see you at some point, hopefully next week. See you later.